welcome to the Absolute Beginner Crochet Series. Within this tutorial, we're going to be looking at how to do a double crochet. And if you work with US terminology, that is a single crochet. I have done a tutorial on how to do a slip knot and chain, making the foundation chain. So if you wanted to look at that before we begin, then that's absolutely fine. I go through it very slowly. I am going to do it again now, but the other tutorial will slow it down a lot for you. So taking our hook and our yarn, we're going to take a slip knot by taking the hook under and then over to pull through the yarn. Then we pull to tighten up onto our hook. Now I'm going to work a foundation chain of 10. So we're going to take the yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 4, yarn over, pull through 5, yarn over, pull through 6, yarn over, pull through 7, yarn over, pull through 8, yarn over, pull through 9, and yarn over, pull through 10. So that is our foundation chain of 10 stitches. What we need to do then is our turning chain. So I'm going to do another chain, so it'll be 11 altogether, but that is our turning chain. So we'll take the yarn over and take one more. So we in fact have 11, but we're going to skip that first chain and work into the second to make our first row of double crochets, which, remember, if you're using US terminology, is a single crochet. Now there are many variations in how you can work your first row, but as a beginner I suggest we work into the top loop. So I'll just pop that back on my hook there. So we're skipping that first stitch and working in the second. So if you can see the kind of slight V shape there, we want to be working in the top of the stitch there, which means at the bottom there will be 2 stitches, but we want the top single stitch. So there will be 2 loops on your hook. Then from there, we're going to take the yarn over and we're going to pull through the first and the second loop. So then we're working into the second stitch here. So we pop our hook through, we take the yarn over and pull that yarn through the first loop and straight through into the second loop. Now, if you can see with my hands here, I'm holding on to secure and keep our work in place. So we go through that top stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then I'm holding at the bottom here of the work that we're creating to keep it in place to pull through both loops. So through that top stitch, yarn over, and pull through both loops. We go in, yarn over and pull through both loops. Now you don't have to do what I'm doing, which is it's a habit that I can't get out of, is holding the top loop here in place with my finger. I'm very jealous of people that can work their crochet without doing that, but you know, when you learn how to do something and you get in the habit of doing it. There we go. So we've got 3 left, so we take the hook through, over, and then yarn over and through 2 loops into that stitch, yarn over through 2 loops, and we have our final stitch here. Now the foundation chain is always the trickiest one. So there we have our first row. Now if I come onto the top here, you can see, if I can hold that right, you can see we've got much clearer with our V shape of our stitches. So for our turning stitch, we need to chain 1, and then we will turn our work around. So we are now here. So now we can see these V's at the top. So we're going to go into both stitches now. So there's kind of 3 pieces of yarn on the hook now because we're going into that top stitch. So we take that yarn over, we pull through the stitch and pull through the last loop and into the next one here. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops. So hook in, yarn over, pull through, take that yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now you can see that it's working slightly easier now in this second row. I've got more yarn to hold on to secure, and we're continuing all the way along, working through that top stitch, hook through, yarn over and through both loops. So working all the way through to the end of our row, through, over, yarn over all the way, and our last stitch here. So there we go, we have our foundation chain and then row 1. So we're going to do our turning chain. So we chain 1, then we're going to turn our work to again work in the top of our stitches here, that V shape, which you can hopefully see a bit more clearly than we could before. So we're continuing with that, taking our hook through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops. And this is our double crochet if you're using UK terminology, single crochet if you are using US terminology. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a couple more rows just to show you how that would look, and then I'll show you how to cut off and weave in your ends. Okay, so I finished my little swatch here of double crochets. Hopefully you will be able to see, I'm going to show you how to count the rows, so you can see that one kind of comes in and then the other comes out. So coming in would be row 1 and coming out would be row 2, in row 3, out row 4, in row 5, out row 6, in row 7, out row 8 and in row 9. So I did 9 rows there. So taking out your hook, we're now going to cut the yarn. You don't want to leave it too short because you need enough space to weave in the ends. Better to have too much than not enough. Now to knot the end to secure it in place, you can take another chain there and pull the yarn all the way through, and then if you tighten up, that will then secure that in place, so you've got a knot at the end there. So then you want to take your yarn needle, thread that through, and I'll show you how we weave those ends in. So you want to try and work with the flow so that it's not obvious where you've weaved your ends in. So you want to try and hide it within your stitches. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to go through these loops here and then pull that through. and I like to do a bit of a zigzag. So I'm going to come down here, but before I do that, I just want to point out, make sure you don't pull too tight, because otherwise you get this and it goes all misshapen. But if you do, don't worry, you can stretch it back out and all will be fine. So try not to tighten it too much. So I'm going to find an appropriate place to come down to the next row. So I'm going to come down here, pull through, and then I'm going to go back across. Here. And then I'm going to go one more time, but I'm going to come back the way I came, making sure I don't go down the same, because we don't want it to go back on itself, and try and go through some different loops there. And it doesn't matter, if I show you here, it doesn't matter if you go through the yarn like that, that's absolutely fine. Pull that through, and you can do a little check to make sure you're not showing through on the other side, and then cut your end off. There we go. And then we can do the same with our tail end here. So I'll work my way through first section here, first row. Pull that through, but not too tight. Open that back out again because I went a little bit tight. And then I'm going to find a spot to work my way down. Go across, and then I'm going to come back through. There we go, and cut our tail end off. And there you have it. There is our completed double crochet / single crochet. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and thank you so much for joining me. Happy crocheting!